This is TWiT.
You're the founder of RethinkDB. Explain to us, just give us a really brief or high-level overview that's simple for people to understand. What is RethinkDB?
Well, RethinkDB is an open-source distributed database for the real-time web. The premise behind the project is that the web is changing and the kinds of user experiences that people expect are changing. So before we had kind of static web pages, and then Ajax came along and changed everything. You could get more data without having to refresh the page. And I think this kind of transformation is happening again, where people want to send data, to the browser without users clicking on anything. So you get experiences like Google Spreadsheet or Google Docs, for example, where when one person is modifying the document, another person can see the changes right away. Now, RethinkDB is a fundamental building block for those kinds of experiences. It's an event-driven database. So the way it works is you can, write a query and then subscribe to a real-time change feed or an event feed on the results out of that query. So as things change in the database, you don't have to constantly pull the database to get new information. The database sends the information to you. And it kind of changes the architectures, like flips them over a little bit. So the kinds of web experiences that people want to build become fundamentally easier to do. And there's been a lot of infrastructure on the front end to make that kind of thing happen. And RethinkDB, I think, is the first database to really tackle that problem on the data side.
So I think I understand. I want to get a few more questions out of the way, and then we're going to dive in a little bit deeper. How did you get started on RethinkDB? How did this come about?
Well, so I was actually in grad school doing, my PhD in computer science, and I was doing something totally different. I was studying mammalian brain simulation on supercomputers, but it's actually not that as different as it seems, because we were dealing with massively distributed networks of machines. And at the time, this was in New York, but I've seen that a lot of smart people, driven people were moving to California, to Silicon Valley, and it sort of felt like the golden age of computing, and I wanted to be a part of it. So we started a company and moved, with my co-founder, and we didn't really know what we wanted to build, but we knew we wanted a company where our skills work really well. And I was a systems person, and my co-founder Mike is a human-computer interaction person. So we kind of put our heads together and thought, hey, the way people are building applications is changing, and it's the most exciting opportunity that we saw. So we decided to build something around it. And then the database really came out of a lot of discussions with web developers, our own experiences, just understanding how people build apps. So we sort of fell into it. It wasn't planned from day one. In fact, we actually started building just a storage engine for solid state drives. And then as we shipped the first version and learned more about how people are building applications, the project kept evolving until it hit the point where it is now.